The Canon R1 was officially announced and the specs got leaked. As well as the Canon R5 Mark II, we also know a little bit more. And as we inch closer to the release of both of these cameras, I'm still not that impressed. What's up? My name is Jay LeBlanc, wedding photographer and photo video educator. Canon officially announced the R1, and any fan of Canon know this was a long time coming. So why did they do it now? And just as the R1 gets announced, more information about the R5 Mark II gets released. Coincidence? I don't know. Let's take a look at all this new information that we just got. Starting with the R1, here's the information that we know so far. It's right on Canon's website if you want to go take a look for yourself. I'm going to break down everything that they are telling us so far. Right off the bat, it says aiming for a 2024 release. That means it may not even come out this year. They're saying that it will dramatically improve with a little star next to it where if you scroll to the bottom, it says compared to the R3, the performance of both still images and video. It's the flagship camera. I would hope that we're improving it compared to every other camera that they make if this is the best one that they're making. Forgive me for reading, but I want to quote them exactly. This is to meet the high requirements of professionals on the front lines of a wide range of fields including sports, news reporting, and video production. I like that they're including video production in there to prove that this is a true hybrid camera, but this camera is going to be good for pretty much anybody who can afford it. This is the best camera that Canon's going to make, right? This is also not really saying much because the 1D series has always been geared towards these people. I mean, they're the ones that are probably most excited about this camera coming out. So is this anything really new? This part's pretty cool. The camera employs the newly developed image processor, Digic Accelerator, in addition to the pre-existing processor, Digic X, meaning there's going to be two processors in it. Alright, so the camera should be pretty fast, right? The new image processing system composed of these processors and a new CMOS sensor enables large volume of data to be processed at high speeds and delivers never before seen advancement in autofocus and other functions. Usually when new flagship cameras come out, they come with the newest, latest, and greatest autofocus system. Am I wrong there? A lot of this information so far just seems like stuff that's kind of expected of what a flagship camera should be for any manufacturer. I do like that they're calling the new autofocus system here deep learning technology instead of just coming right out and saying AI as the buzzword. I'm sure a lot of people are going to interchange the two of them, but AI is very different than technology and far too often they get mixed up. And I'm going to touch on more of that at the end of this video. The autofocus action priority function recognizes subject movement by rapidly analyzing the subject's status. Are they going to tell me my pulse? Are they going to predict the movements? Does this only apply to specific sports though? Because then they go on to say, automatically determines the player performing a certain action, such as shooting a ball, as the main subject and instantly shifts the autofocus frame, thereby helping to capture decisive moments of gameplay. Reading this, it almost sounds like the camera knows the important things that happen in every sport. Or maybe it's just certain sports that are programmed into the camera. I'm not totally sure on this. It almost seems like if you had a camera pointing at every person on the field or court, the camera could just pretty much do all the work. I don't know. Maybe the cameras are coming for our jobs? We'll see. But also they only really mention in this ball sports. So I wonder if this is going to include sports such as swimming or maybe racing or something that doesn't involve a ball. I mean, they obviously have to include pickleball in it, right? It's the fastest growing sport in America for the last 3 years. If pickleball is not in it, I'm sorry, I just can't buy this camera. Drop a like if you've tried pickleball. Don't knock it till you try it. It's a fun game. Here's one that I'm a little torn about. It says Canon implements the image noise reduction function, which has been previously developed and improved as part of the software for PCs as a camera function to further improve image quality and contribute to user creativity. So I know in some software they have noise reduction, which helps improve image quality, but a lot of them, I don't love it. So I wonder what algorithm they're going to be using to implement into the camera, and can I even turn it off? Because a lot of these softwares, they just make the picture very soft and smooth, and I don't necessarily love the outcome of the final image. So I'd rather just have the ability to turn that off and make all the adjustments in post and where I can fine tune it and not just let the camera decide what looks good or not. But who knows, I might be totally wrong and this might be fantastic. But for right now, the first iteration of things, I'm always a little skeptical about how well it works. Listen, I mean, if you take out your cell phone and you turn on the front-facing camera, chances are there's some sort of algorithm in there that is going to apply a little bit of a softening into the image. And that's kind of what I think of when I think of noise reduction from some software. And I just don't love the results that it gives. So we'll see what this looks like when the camera actually gets released. So that's what we got from Canon. Now the exciting news. As one retailer made a little bit of a boo-boo and accidentally posted a few more specs on their website than they were supposed to. And when I got the notification that this was available on this company's website, I looked at it and I looked at this. I'm like, this is a lot more than what Canon is saying. So I took a screenshot of it. So check it out right here. Here we see the high-speed autofocus and exposure enhanced by AI recognition. Again, at the end of this video, I'm going to give my whole opinion on all this AI stuff, so stick around to the end to hear what I have to say about that. Moving object trajectory prediction, high success rate, smart object lock focus tracking. I really like this, if it works. If we're able to pick one subject and it holds focus on that, even if other people walk in front of that one particular subject and it doesn't lose focus, this could be pretty impressive, especially when it comes to sports and some of those situations where you're shooting where there's a lot of people and a lot of action going on. 30 megapixel full frame stacked dual gain sensor. I'm with it. I'm loving these stacked sensors. Purely electronic rolling shutter, faster than any mechanical rolling shutter. Awesome. Love the way it sounds, but we'll see how good it is when people actually get their hands on this and start testing it. 1/1250th of a second flash sync speed. All right. Nice high sync speed. Get creative with flashes. I'm cool with that. Added 1 to 3 lossy compression C-RAW compared to lossless compression. Now, I don't know how I feel about this one. We'll have to wait and see what this exactly looks like. Will it just reduce the amount of megapixels that are being used in the sensor? Or will the image quality as a whole suffer? Because when we're talking about lossy compression, we're going to be losing some of the information. It's just where are they cutting out that information to make the file size smaller? But being that it's a flagship camera, I can't see them giving it a function that'll produce lower quality images. I'm just hoping that it reduces the file size without image quality suffering too much. Unlimited 40 frames per second in the 1 to 2 C-RAW compression. Interesting. Unlimited 60 frames per second in 1 to 3 C-RAW compression. Okay, all right, I'm with that. Up to 120 frames per second, full featured continuous shooting. I'm guessing that's probably going to be JPEGs, but the fact that they say full featured, I'm guessing that the autofocus tracking will still work while shooting that 120 frames per second, which will be a pretty impressive little thing there. And then we have 240 frames per second burst mode with 1 second pre-shooting. I'm guessing that's probably also going to be in JPEG. And maybe in this situation, we don't have that continuous autofocus tracking. So we'll see what happens when it actually gets announced, but that's pretty damn impressive. 240 frames per second, and we're talking pictures. I like the sound of that. I feel bad for whoever's editing that though. Everybody's got an AI editor these days, right? And the last one, enhanced dynamic range, better than the R3 and R5. And here's another one of those pieces of information where I say, it's the flagship, it's the best camera they make. It better be better than the other cameras that have been out for several years now. I feel like that's just gotta be a given at this point. So we'll see. The R1 sounds awesome, and I'm really excited to see these full features when they're actually getting put to use. And this could be a very impressive camera. But we'll see when it comes out, and I know that they are field testing it right now. Canon did mention that. So we'll see what happens when consumers actually get their hands on production models of this camera. Now for the R5 Mark II. There's more rumors circulating, and I'm thinking we're getting really close to the release of it. And I personally love this because I plan on buying it. I'm gonna pre-order it the second it comes out. I cannot wait for it for the very first reason I'm about to tell you, which I mentioned in my last video. If you haven't checked it out, I'll link it up above. And that's going to be the stack sensor. It looks like from the rumors that we're still gonna have a 45 megapixel sensor, but it's going to be stacked. And I am so excited for this, just for the fact of image quality and readout speeds. I think it'll take the R5 from what it is right now to a level where I wouldn't need to buy a camera for a pretty long time. Who am I kidding? I'm a photographer, and us photographers love to spend our money on gear this second it's in our bank account. Faster readout speeds than the R3, love that, cool. The R3's been out for a little while now, and if we're able to up it in the R5 Mark II, I'm with it. Pre-bursts. I can't say that without laughing. Pre-burst. Okay, pre-burst. Pre-burst. Every camera nowadays has this, and people love having that little pre-burst before the actual burst. But make sure you wear protection if you're going to be bursting that much. Both mechanical and electronic shutter. Not really surprised here. I'm okay with that they still have the mechanical shutter in it. It's what the R5 has right now, and it works perfectly fine. 30 frames per second with mechanical shutter. It's pretty cool. The R5 right now also does 30 frames per second, but I believe it's only an electronic shutter. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm like 98% sure that it's just electronic shutter. A dedicated photo video switch. Oh, I love this. Finally, they did it. Just like the R6 Mark II has a little switch that just the only thing it does is switch between photo and video mode. The R5 Mark II is rumored to have this switch as well. For anybody who has an R5 right now, knows switching between photo and video mode isn't exactly the prettiest thing. You have to hit like the mode button and then hit info, and it's weird. Just having a switch there would make life so much easier, especially for hybrid shooters. It makes life a lot easier for switching back and forth between taking stills and video. A new flippy outy screen. I like that. I like the new flippy outy screen because this one, I don't love it. I wish, just like Nikon and Sony has, I had the ability to tilt this up without having to flip it out like this and turn it like this. I think it would just be much more convenient if I can just angle it up. We'll see what it actually looks like when it comes out though. So hopefully my wish comes true. New eye autofocus 2. I love this feature. The R3 has it. I think it's so cool being able to select where your autofocus point is by just looking at it through your viewfinder. It's such a cool feature. And the fact that this is 2, they're saying that it's an updated, newer version of it. I know some people have problems with it in the R3, but if we're gonna update it, I'm hoping that it's gonna be better now and maybe it might bring some additional features. We'll see, time will tell, but I love this feature because anything that allows me to do my job faster, I will gladly spend my money on. Advancements in heat dissipation technology have led to enhancement performance in video recording and high frame rate photography. Please let this mean that the camera's not going to overheat when shooting high frame rates for video as well, because I am sick of that. I know they did an update that helped with the runtime before it overheats, but my camera still overheats sometimes, especially when you're recording high frame rate video. Yeah, we got to get rid of that. Whatever technology you got to do to make that a little bit cooler, thank you, Canon. And the official announcement is supposed to come the end of May. You know, we're at the middle of May right now, so I'm getting excited about this one. Now, before I get into the AI stuff, if you made it this far in the video, I would love it if you could like, subscribe, you know, all the YouTube things. It just really helps me out and I'll appreciate it. You're the best. Thank you very much. Now, for AI, all these new cameras that are coming out keep pitching AI everything, right? And I feel like they are mixing up AI and technology. The difference between AI and technology is right now in our camera, we can track a car, a bird, a person, and that's technology. AI would be, I'm shooting a basketball game and I want to only track LeBron James. And I tell my camera to just track that one person. And that is the only person that my camera will focus on. That's AI. I tell my camera I only want to focus on the driver inside the blue car that is going around a racetrack at 200 miles an hour. That is AI. Telling the camera to track a car, that's not really AI, that's technology. Hey look, a visit from my dog. Hey look, we had a surprise visitor. He wanted to get in on the action of today's video too. Say hi, buddy. No, not entertained. See, my camera right now, I told it to track human faces, and it's tracking my face. So even when I bring Buddy up to the camera, it's still tracking my face. That's technology. I think an example of AI would be, I'm going to shoot a wedding, and I'm going to program into my camera the bride and groom's face, and tell my camera, anytime you see their faces, focus on them and them only, nobody else in the room. That would be AI. Technology would be, there's a person, they have an eyeball, I'm focusing on it. So I don't know why so many people are throwing around this whole AI everything. AI is the ability to learn. Technology is just being able to say, here is a set parameter, do it. So we'll see when these cameras actually come out what they mean by AI, but I really think that they're meaning technology and calling it AI. But I might be totally wrong. We'll see when these cameras come out and people get their hands on them. I'm really excited for what the future holds with these Canon cameras because I am a huge Canon lover. I've been shooting Canon cameras since before the 5D series even came out. Ooh. Did I just say that? You're gonna know how old I am now. Anyway, I'm really excited. We'll see what these cameras have in store for us when they actually get released. And until the next video, peace.